What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suyin and today I am making a highly requested video that has been asked about multiple times over on this channel. We are going to explore what to look for in a brokerage account today. So let's jump straight in. Okay, so when it comes to a brokerage account, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to explore this so early on, but I do believe it is important for us to be prepared for when we actually want to buy individual stocks. So here is a guide as to how to pick the right brokerage accounts for us and what to look out for. So there are really just 4 simple criteria that I want to look at when it comes to picking a brokerage account for ourselves. And the first one is the main thing that we are looking at, where we are actually examining what is it that we are getting ourselves into. From my knowledge anyway, there are 2 different types of accounts that you can get, and this is just specifically referring to it in general. I'm not getting into a cash account versus a margin account. For all simplification purposes, I only invest using cash upfront accounts, as I am not confident to be using leverage or margin in my investments, as I only want to invest what I can afford to lose, if that makes sense. So when it comes to picking between a brokerage account, what we want to look out for is whether it is a direct central depository system or whether it is a nominee account. So they are different, and let's get into how they are different. So I guess I'll tell you what I actually choose. I always go for a direct CDS account, and that is because if I wanted to invest in shares, individual shares, I want them to be in my name, where I am the direct owner of these shares that I have purchased. So that's what a direct CDS does. It buys those shares under your name through your broker. And the distinction is this: so if it's directly under your name, you can attend AGMs, which are annual general meetings, and you don't need to ask for permission from your broker, nothing like that. You don't need to fill in any paperwork. You just rock up to the AGM with your identification card and you can attend it, you can ask questions, and of course you are entitled to the door gift because people love free stuff. And the other distinction is that you can participate in IPOs, which are initial public offerings, where a company is floating its shares for the first time on the stock exchange, and you can be a participant or a subscriber of those new shares. And yeah, you know, some people love IPOs, some people think they're initially overpriced, and yeah, I guess like there could be many examples where we are right and we are wrong. So yeah, that's a different story. Also, if we are the direct shareholders, we are able to obtain the dividends issued on the particular date of payment because they are banked directly into our personal bank accounts. Whereas if we are taking part in a nominee account, the money goes first into the trust account under our broker or whatever entity they put our shares under, and then they proceed to transfer it into our personal bank accounts after they have processed all of that. And by the time that takes place, it's maybe 5 business days later, so it takes a little while longer to receive your dividends. And if that is something that is important to you, that's something to take note of. For corporate exercises such as dividend reinvestments or rights issues, if we are the direct shareholders, we are obligated, okay, maybe that's not the right word, we get to decide for ourselves whether we want to participate in that or not. And yeah, for that we just fill out paperwork and we mail it in the post, and that is done. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so now when it comes to the second criteria, this is usually what everyone looks at, and it is a very important thing to look at, no doubt, is the fees. When it comes to choosing the right brokerage account for you, you really need to take note of these fees, because when we place an order, a buy order or a sell order, there are additional charges that we need to take into account for, as that affects the total amount that we are able to purchase. So some of these fees, the biggest percentage would be the brokerage fee, which is charged by the broker that we choose, the entity that we sign up our brokerage account with. So this varies, and I'll take you through the ones that I particularly like and I think are good from all these 4 criteria that I've been looking at. But yes, the brokerage fees really vary, and if you are a trader, this is something to really take into account for, because the more transactions you have, the more it's going to cost you, because there is brokerage fee, there is also stamp duty, there is clearing fees, and yeah, I think SST is charged on top. So yeah, a few things to take into account for. And yeah, let's go through what are some of the examples of amounts that brokers charge for their brokerage accounts. Alright, so now we're looking at the different brokerage accounts that I particularly like. First things first, we need to really just consider the brokerage fee rates when we are comparing across the board, because the stamp duty and the clearing fees and SST needs to be paid for anyway, regardless. But when it comes to the different brokerage fees, it varies a lot. So like say here we're looking at Can Trade by Kenanga in the FAQ page, we can see straight away that the minimum per contract is 28 ringgit or 0.42% of our purchase price. So it's quite a lot of money, and if you compare it to a different account, say Maybank or HL Broking, so Maybank's one is 0.1% brokerage fee, and HL Broking is 0.106 or something like that. HL Broking offers 0.106 brokerage rate, or a minimum of 8 ringgit and 48 cents for their online trades. So yeah, or a minimum of 8 ringgit and 48 cents. So that is a very big difference in the minimum itself, 28 versus 8.48. So those are the things that we are looking out for when it comes to a brokerage rate. So let's look at a nominee account, which is what Rakuten Trade offers, and they pretty much promote quite heavily. And let's see what are their brokerage fees. So for Rakuten Trade, there is a page showing us Rakuten Trade /fees, and we can see there is a whole range of transaction value. So let's say you're buying a stock purchase of less than 1,000 ringgit in value, your minimum amount they'll charge you is 7 ringgit. And if say your purchase is between 1,000 to 10 or below 10,000 ringgit, they will charge you 9 ringgit. And then anywhere between 10,000 and less than 100,000, they will charge you 0.1% of trading value. So you do see there is some cost advantages when trading or transacting with Rakuten Trade, but remember they are a nominee account, and if that is okay with you, then go ahead and use them, especially because, you know, the ease of signing up for the account is also another factor. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. The ease of signing up for the account and getting all the paperwork done is also another added benefit that we should consider when it comes to looking at creating a brokerage account for ourselves. Okay, so the third criteria, I think it's super underrated, and it's something that we should really consider when it comes to selecting a brokerage account, which is how it feels like to use this particular brokerage account. So the interface of the web version, and also the interface of the mobile application. That is super important, because you don't want to be confused when you're using your brokerage accounts, because it's very easy to make mistakes. So you want to find a brokerage account that enables you to make the least amount of mistakes, or actually make no mistakes at all when it comes to your buy and sell orders. And you want something that is able to walk you through very easily and have features that are genuinely very good to use. And I like that they have confirmation pages where when you place some numbers into the buying page, they give you a confirmation page where it's like, you know, are you sure this is the correct amount? And then you check and you're like, yep. And you confirm the purchase. So that is super important to me. And I don't have very much experience with the different brokers, I only have exposure to 2, and I can very safely say that I have a preference for one over the other very quickly due to just the interface alone. But yeah, there are other things to consider, such as the brokerage fees, which my user-friendly one is more expensive than the less user-friendly one. Go figure. The fourth criteria is added features. So this is something that is a huge bonus when it comes to having a brokerage account that gives us even more features that will help in our fundamental analysis or technical analysis if you are a trader. So these are more tools that equip us on our investing journey, and this is also something that is really nice because you are getting more bang for your buck in terms of features. So I know that CanTrade and HL Broking also provide equities tracker data, and the data here is not the full-scale version of what equities tracker can provide, but they do give you like 5 years worth of fundamentals of the company, and it's quite nice and quite a good feature to have for people who are not subscribed to the full version of ET's data. And to see one shot 5 years of how the company has been performing is very important for us as fundamental investors, because then we can see the trend of how they are growing or how they are not growing, and also we can compare this relative to their direct competition within the industry. Super helpful. So yeah, I guess those are the features that I believe are super important when it comes to picking the brokerage accounts that we want to use to invest in individual stocks. So to recap, 1, we need to look at what the account actually is, whether it is a direct CDS or whether it's a nominee account, and we pick based on what we are comfortable with. And also for number 2, we are looking at what it will actually cost us to transact the fees. And 3, we are looking at picking something with a good interface, very easy to use, very simplistic, and whether it is available on web as well as mobile application. That's important because we are on the go a lot. And 4th, are there any added features that are bonuses that will really help us in our investing journey? So that's it for the video today. I hope this has really helped you into figuring out what to look out for when it comes to picking our brokerage accounts for individual stocks. And that includes REITs as well, if you're interested in looking into REITs. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye!